Watch as Stephen A. Smith drags the NAACP. Check it out.
How does you refusing to invite him, ostracizing him, not wanting to hear what he has to say to you all, how does that help you? How? I'm not saying agree with him. I'm not saying side with him. I'm not saying befriend him. I'm not saying any of those things. But ignoring him ain't going to get it done. Not if you truly want to be about the business of helping folks, particularly the desolate and disenfranchised in our country, the urban communities throughout America. Not that that's all the NAACP does, because I'm certainly not implying that. All I'm saying is that clearly is who you're interested in helping. Ignoring him and not even inviting him to come and speak at your convention, what's that going to accomplish?
So as you saw there, he took the NAACP to task for not inviting President Donald Trump to its national convention that it has had since the last 116 years. Now, the convention will be coming up in July, and they flat out did not even extend the invitation to him. Now, the national president for the NAACP, Derek Johnson, said this: Donald Trump is attacking our democracy and our civil rights. The president has signed unconstitutional executive orders to oppress voters and undo federal civil rights protection. He continually undermines every pillar of our democracy to make himself more powerful and to personally benefit from the U.S. government. Now, Trump was reached out to, and his administration basically said, yeah, the NAACP, all they do is stoke division, right? And of course, Trump's administration says that we're not trying to do that. And it's like, depending on who you ask, right? Some people will say, yeah, I don't believe that. But nevertheless, I agree with Stephen A. Smith, because the NAACP has invited a whole bunch of problematic people from the left and the right. They invited Reagan with his trickle-down theory that, the wealth would trickle down. Well, that disproportionately hurt Black people. They invited Bush Jr., especially with his fumbling of Hurricane Katrina, that disproportionately affected Black people. He showed up. Now, traditionally, presidents will show up to try to bridge the gap between the Black community. That's what they normally do. Hey, I want to do A, B, C, and D, whether they're Democrat or Republican. But again, they said, nah, Trump, you can't come and hang out with us. I don't even know if he would have won. He probably would have. I mean, he's gone to other things. But Stephen A. Smith is right to drag the NAACP, because they should be listening to all conversations, whether you agree with it or not. But the real thing is that they do not want Black people to hear any other line of reasoning. They want Black people to stay in lockstep with the Democrat Party, right? Because if you think about the NAACP, you think about the Democratic Party. They're one and the same, right? They don't really want somebody, especially like Trump, because Trump was able to get a little bit more of the Black vote than he did the time before. And in fact, he was able to get more of the Black vote than any other Republican in modern day, right? A Republican presidential candidate. So I guess they're like, no, we don't want him to come and say something that might lure, if you will, other Black voters away from the Democratic Party. But then if you think about it too, the NAACP, when have you really ever been about the business of helping Black people? And what have you done? Now, y'all might have showed up here and there and everywhere, but we also know that it says for the advancement of colored people. Now, when you think of that, you think of Black people. Oh, they must be talking about Black people because they called us colored people, right? But now you think about what they say about everybody else that's not white, people of color. And that's what the NAACP says. Oh, we're here to help Black people and other people of color. Now, y'all been on the front line for the people of color, not necessarily Black people. But we also know that the NAACP was started by white people, and they peppered in some Black people here and there, but it was started by white people. And we should always ask why. Why are y'all so interested in helping Black people? Especially in 1909, where Black people were going through it, right? And have we as Black people, if this is supposed to be an organization, have we advanced? And if so, where have we advanced to? A lot of people say we are no better off now than we were in 1909. And we're not. So, while they're not inviting Trump, that's the reason not to do that. And yeah, Trump has been problematic because they cite things like, oh, he's getting rid of DEI. Now, the NAACP, they supposed to be for Black people, right? Well, we know DEI is not for Black people. We know DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, is to help white women because that's who's been helped the most. In fact, Black Americans come like fifth or sixth, in that order of getting this help through diversity, equity, and inclusion. So it doesn't really exist for us, but they still want to die on that hill of, he getting rid of DEI. And of course, they talk about, getting rid of the segregation ban on the federal level. Segregation, a lot of us are saying, I don't hate it. Yeah, let's be separate. Let's be separate from a people and a system that has oppressed us, before we separated and when we integrated. Let's get away from that. What's the problem with that, NAACP? We should be talking like that anyway, because everybody else is separate. Hispanics, Asians, white people, they live separately and nobody has a problem with that. But when Black people, the conversation is had with us being separate, oh no, it's racist. Yeah, it's racist. But again, we're better off without being around them. So the NAACP is dying on the hill of stuff that has never benefited Black Americans. But there they are, uninviting Trump because he doesn't agree and they don't agree. Well, invite him and see what he has to say. He might say something that's beneficial, and he might even do something. I don't know. He might. But I agree with Stephen A. Smith. The NAACP, they need to be dragged for being so petty and childish. So anyway, y'all let me know what you think of that. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel.